Hi, my name is Joyce.
Maparo.
In today's video, we're going to talk about the fear of losing money. One thing that I've observed among a lot of people, especially people who have done consultations with us, yes, most of them want to start up their, home care business, but just from my observation is that a lot of people are afraid of losing money when starting a business. They're trying to hold tight to their money, but I think that's a wrong thing, because you already know business is a risk. When you're doing business, you gotta take risks. What I'm trying to say here is that if you really want to be successful with your business, you shouldn't be afraid of losing money. Take calculated risks. We are not asking you to rush and make decisions, on, okay, maybe who should I hire to do my marketing? No, we are not rushing you to make any commitment. We have a course that we are selling, and this course is created to help you learn on how to do Google Ads, how to market. So if you have an idea of how marketing is done, then maybe when you decide to choose a marketer, you will have an idea of how much you can spend. Maybe you can add on that.
Absolutely. So this fear of losing money typically comes in multiple forms. And at the root of that fear is lack of knowledge. When somebody doesn't have knowledge of something, they become paralyzed, like you said. They get stuck in analysis paralysis. They overanalyze and they get paralyzed and they're not able to make a decision. And we've noticed that once people learn how to do the marketing themselves, it's much easier for them to take more risk with their money. So
because they have an idea of how much they need to spend.
How much they need to spend on their
marketing budget, and even to pay whoever is doing their marketing.
Even understand how to use Google Ads. How are you going to know how much it's going to cost you to hire a marketer, or what your cost of advertising should be? So we get a lot of these questions, and this week I learned one concept, and this concept is called the sunken cost fallacy. So the sunken cost fallacy is really rooted in addiction. There are a lot of people who go to Vegas that are gamblers. So what they do is they are addicted to gambling, and the reason why they're addicted to gambling is because they've already spent a lot of money in gambling. So they're thinking, okay, if I put this bet, I'm going to get my money back. So they keep doing that. So let's say somebody spent $100,000 betting money in Vegas, and if they come across another $100, they're going to bet that $100 thinking they're going to make up all that money that they've lost in the past, because they're like saying to themselves, oh, I already spent $100,000, so I might as well keep going, and hopefully I'm going to get my money back. And I see a lot of this happening to a lot of people that we're talking to that have invested so much time and money into other methods that are not working. That they keep investing in those methods that are not working and saying, oh, you know what, I already come this far in passing out flyers, I might as well keep going. But flyers don't really work that well, especially in a pandemic. It's also based on the conditioning that we've had for a long time, that we've been told to save money, save money, save money. Well, let me tell you what happens when you save money. Inflation is your enemy. And I keep telling you this, right? It's like, imagine if you saved $10,000 for the next 10 years. Or let's go back into the past, right? Let's say 10 years ago you had $10,000. And you saved it up until 2020. That same 10,000 in 2020 is not 10,000. The purchasing power of that 10,000 will probably be like 9,000.
9,000.
Why is that?
It depreciates.
It depreciates every year. Why? Because there's inflation. If you look at the way inflation goes, in this country, inflation is about 2 to 3% a year. So your money is depreciating 2 to 3% per year for 10 years.
For 10 years.
So when you accumulate that, that's 30%.
That's 30%.
That's between 20 to 30%. So the purchasing power for that $10,000 10 years ago is not.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. However, if you had invested that $10,000 into gold, silver,
yes,
real estate,
right,
that money would have grown, and the purchasing power of that $10,000 would be much greater, and would have been hedged against all that inflation over the last 10 years.
Right.
So this is a concept that a lot of people don't understand, that have been conditioned for a long time to save money, save money, save money. And I also want to mention one other point. It's the last point. That in a situation where you're not bringing in money, when there's no cash flow, if you hold on to that $5,000 or that $10,000 that you have, you're just gonna get poor slower, right? Especially if you don't have a job.
You need to elaborate it even better, because I don't think a lot of people will understand what you're trying to say.
No problem. Here's what I mean. Let us say you have $10,000 in your savings account right now, and you've lost your job. It means that you don't have any more cash flow.
Cash flow, yes.
To meet your daily expenses or daily needs, right? Especially in these times, tough times. So what's going to happen is you're going to tap into your savings that you've been holding on to forever. So here's the challenge. If you don't invest some of that $10,000 to generate cash flow, and that $10,000 is just going to deplete. You're going to watch it every day, deplete. There's a bill here, there's a bill there. The kid needs to go to daycare. Some
emergencies that may come up.
There's an emergency. The church needs a tithe. The landlord needs his money. So and so is sick. You might end up being tempted to go maybe to the mall and do some shopping. Now you're depressed. Now you're going to the mall to shop, to spend money that you barely have in the first place. So the point I'm trying to make here is that same $10,000, if you hold on to it, it might last you only a year, and it's going to deplete slow. And it's surely,
it's actually easy to spend it quick.
It's actually easier to spend it quick. Eventually you're going to run out of money.
Right.
But if you say to yourself, you know what, I have this $10,000, I've lost my job, let me invest at least half of it into a business that brings me cash flow. Look, it doesn't have to be this business.
No.
It doesn't have to be.
It could be something else.
You could be good at braiding hair, right? You could be good at tutoring. There are a lot of parents right now, families right now that need tutors.
Yes.
Because they're scared of sending
private tutors.
Private tutors. They're scared of sending their kids to these schools that are COVID infested. So, in fact, right now we're looking for a private tutor for our kids, because
we're actually doing homeschooling.
Yeah, we're doing homeschooling, but we will need a private tutor for our kids, because this is something that you can do as well, right? But in order for you to do that, you need to know how to market yourself.
That's right.
So that you can get all these clients. So everything comes down to how can you put yourself in a position to be in front of people that need your services. So you just holding on to that cash is not going to do it. So you're just going to run out of cash, and that's the bottom line. And you're going to be anxious. The anxiety is going to keep rising and rising and rising, and eventually you're going to go to zero. And this is the reality. So don't be afraid to lose money.
Yes, it's losing money, but it's not really losing money.
It's not really losing money.
As long as you're investing it in something that is going to generate a cash flow, that's not really losing money.
That's correct. So I'm going to leave you with this one piece of advice. If you have some savings right now, you should do what my wife and I do. Every time we get a chunk of money and we have savings, and this is, we sit down and we say, how do we invest some of this money first. So for example, if we have $1,000, what I do is I go to my wife and say, hey, let's sit down as how can we invest at least half of this cash in a way that we're going to get back in the near future. And then the rest of the other half goes into savings. That's really how you should be looking at it. And don't be afraid to lose money, and don't be afraid to invest, rather. So that's the last tip I want to leave you on. So with that, I want to encourage you to take a look at our course, our 90-day program that teaches you how to start and grow a profitable non-medical home care agency where you hire non-skilled caregivers to work for you. So take a look at that course down below. And here's the best part. All the marketing is done for you. We do all the online marketing for you. We teach you how to do it, and then we do it for you. All right?
Okay.
Take care.
Take care.
All right.
Bye.